Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. Oh my gosh.
What? Happy birthday
thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Well, I'm glad you recognize that I'm the president of the 60 Plus Podcast.
Sure. Whatever you say. You can say whatever you want today because it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And you know what that means.
Well, we've established this tradition where when it's our birthday, we do a real talk episode
With the
with the
person.
person whose birthday it is.
And we create new questions that they don't know.
Correct. And I'm a little scared.
You should be. No,
Okay. All right. So Janet's going to ask me 10 questions.
Yes. Like
About
we do
being-
with our Real Talk guests.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So shall I begin?
Can I stop you?
No, not likely. Okay. So the first one, I'll go in easy on you. Okay.
Okay.
What do you like most about being 60 plus?
Having way more stories to tell to people about things that have happened in my life.
Okay.
I'm a storyteller.
Okay. What's one of your favorite stories?
One of my favorites. Oh gosh, there's so many. One of my favorite stories.
Any recent favorite stories
Well, no.
since you've turned 60?
I was going to go back to my childhood.
Yeah. You can go back to your childhood. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories is my best friend and I, when we were 12, we got mini bikes. They were little miniature motorcycles. They weren't the lawnmower
Right.
motor type. They were motorcycles, street legal bikes in Japan, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And
Were they Hondas?
my friend had a Honda and I had a Suzuki.
Okay.
We lived in, it was a suburb, but very rural.
Rural. Yeah.
Yeah. And we would go through the woods to far off places. We were 12.
Yeah.
To far off places that our parents
You had
never
a-
knew
you had
we
a
went.
taste of freedom for the
we,
first
we
time.
were miles and miles from home doing all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite trip that we did was we went to an adjoining town and we went over a railroad trestle bridge
Okay.
over a river that we didn't know if a train might be coming in the other direction. It might have been one of the more stupid things I've done in my life, but I do think about it quite often.
And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we did
I
that.
can't believe we survived.
And here you are, 60.
I mean, it was high. I mean, it was
There was nowhere to go.
There was
if a
nowhere
train
to
came.
go, and it was just one train track width wide, and we were both on it. Like you can look through the trestles and see the
yeah.
river down below us.
Yeah, not good.
No,
Not good.
no,
Okay,
very-
well, I'm glad you survived that
Me too.
because here we are talking about you being 60 something. And we won't need to say that unless you want to divulge.
It's 65. It's 65.
You're on the hump.
I was talking with a friend this past week about it, and birthdays don't usually affect me.
Right.
This one is kind of hitting
Oh, really?
a little bit.
Why?
I'm not like devastated or anything,
Yeah.
but 60 because you apply for Medicare. when
Oh,
you're
yeah, that's like a
65.
big deal.
It is.
That's like a turning point, you know?
It sure
in your
is.
life.
Mhm.
Okay, well,
Okay.
okay. I'm not going to say anything more about that because I'm sure I'll be,
You'll be
breathing
there
on
a
it.
couple of years.
Yeah. Yep. So let me ask you this. What in your life now would you have never predicted?
That I'd be 65.
No, seriously.
No, seriously. Blink of an eye. I was in my 30s and then I was in my 60s. No, it's a blink of an eye.
You double down.
It flew by.
Yeah.
It really did. I don't know how to explain it. It really surprised me that
Mhm.
it happened. I'll be standing in the line at the supermarket waiting to check out, and there'll be a dad in front of me with a little kid. And we'll start chatting because there's a long line. And I'll say, it's going to go by in the blink of an eye. Just remember that. Just remember it's
Yeah.
the blink of an
Yeah.
eye.
And enjoy every moment.
You have to,
Yeah.
because it goes by very, very quickly.
Right. True.
Mhm.
Okay. Next question. In your 60 years, what was your greatest moment of joy?
My greatest moment of joy. Well, there were two. When
Mhm.
both my kids were born.
Yeah.
I was there. They were both cesarean. So it wasn't like, it was very, we were in an operating room. I didn't expect it the first time around.
Right.
There was a nurse handed me a cap, a gown, and booties, and I said, "What's this for?" And she said, "Well, you're going into the operating room, aren't you?" And I had never been in an operating room.
Right.
I didn't know what to expect. If I even tried to describe it, it wouldn't do justice of what I witnessed.
Right.
But seeing those little babies was just amazing.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. Aw, that's so wonderful. Okay. This is like a 3-part
Oh
question.
gosh.
In your 60 years, what was your biggest disappointment?
Oh, how honest am I going to be here? I think some career choices
Mm-hmm.
have been disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
If I had it to do again, I would have chosen a different path in my career.
Okay.
And I kind of let other people's opinions influence me a little too much.
Okay. Valid. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Say no more. Okay. In your 60 years, what was your biggest moment of embarrassment?
This is going to seem very minor. It was my first office job,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very gossipy kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gossiping about someone that I worked with, and she overheard me.
Oh no.
hmm
And
And-
did
and
you
I
learn
felt-
a
I
lesson?
did. I felt horrible about it. Thing is, it wasn't even something that I would normally do.
Right. You were just like trying to fall into the culture.
No, it wasn't even that. Even in that culture, I didn't. I would
Yeah.
hear the gossip, but I wouldn't participate.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know what it was about that, but oh my gosh, it was this flush of. I'm sure I was blushing.
Yeah. I
I
bet.
felt horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, and I learned something very valuable from it.
Yeah. And did you apologize?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how you have these rules of the road, and then like one time you break something and you do something against character and you get
And you
busted.
get caught
You get busted. I have a similar story that happened in kindergarten actually.
in kindergarten.
Yeah. But it's not about me today, is it?
Well, we'll have to talk about that another time.
So
I have a feeling it had something to do with a boy.
no, in
Oh.
kindergarten?
Yeah.
No, it had something to do with cupcakes.
So not beefcake,
my
cupcakes.
my priorities were different in kindergarten.
Okay.
Okay. What about turning this age are you most looking forward to?
Oh, Medicare.
It's your hardest barrier and your biggest delight.
Exactly. Yeah. What am I most looking forward to? Is that the question?
Yeah. About being 65.
Making it to 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having another year.
It just, yeah.
Hopefully.
And feeling as
Another
good as I
day.
do. And I think being as vibrant as I am
Mm-hmm.
and not feeling like an old man.
Yeah.
I don't feel like an old man,
No.
except like if I sit for a really long time and then I stand up.
Then you try to get up.
But
Or is that when I'm bend over and try to pick up my pen? Okay. Who in the 60 plus age group do you admire the most?
oh, I was hoping you would ask this question.
Oh, yeah? Good.
Yep.
Well, I
And
did.
I'm not going to name the person.
Hmm.
It's a friend of mine.
Okay.
It's a very close friend of mine. And I hope he knows that I admire him, but he is someone that is very disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
He's very successful in business
Mm-hmm.
and has been able to walk the walk that other people talk about.
Okay.
He volunteers for an international humanitarian relief agency
Mm-hmm.
that does unbelievable work.
Mm-hmm.
You've never heard of the agency, but they do unbelievable work. And the amount of time and energy and devotion he gives to this is really, really impressive. And just the way he conducts himself in life.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a really good person.
Nice.
And he's a listener, so he's going to hear this.
Aw, well, that's good. That's really good. I'm glad you had an opportunity to say it. Now, do you have a bucket list? And if so, what's on it?
I don't really have a bucket list.
No? Okay.
I kind of take things as they come,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a little bit more spontaneous about things in life,
Mm-hmm.
which it's a double-edged sword
Right.
because it doesn't lend itself well to have a plan.
Right.
And I think I should plan a little bit better for the future. But no, I don't really have a bucket list. I would like to travel. I don't know if that's in the cards in the near future. And just spending more time with friends and family.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Nice. We're on number 9 already. Can you believe it?
No, it might be the shortest episode ever of the 60 Plus podcast.
Oh, really?
Mm.
You can tell more stories. Okay. So, what advice would you give to someone who's about to join our club?
I think almost everyone we've asked this question of has somewhat of a similar answer. Don't worry about it. It's a number.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything about it.
No.
It's going to, hopefully it will happen for you.
Right.
And don't let it get under your skin. I know people who have turned 60 and they all of a sudden they think they're old.
Mm.
I've said, no, you're just one day older than you were yesterday. It really is just a number. I think the number is less relevant than it used to be. Janet's laughing because I dropped my pen and I'm not picking it up.
That's good because we don't want to hear the grunts and the groans.
It really is just a number. It's not, the numbers are significant,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also an achievement
Right.
to get there. And again, you're as old as you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some truth to that. Not completely, but there is some truth to it. And don't let it get to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the positive side of that too is that we have time. We have a lot more time, hopefully. And there's
Fingers crossed, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that we can do in this age. It's not over yet. Okay. What are you most grateful for?
I think people that know me, they don't even have to know me very well to know that I really, really love where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very grateful that I've been able to live here for the last, going on 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and have gotten to know a lot of people and am very active in the community, and that it is such a great place to live. I'm very grateful for that. I think people know that we live in New England,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we live in the best part of New England.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty place. Okay. Another question.
Okay. It's 10 plus questions.
I just added it. So, in your 65 years now, what are you most proud of in terms of your accomplishments?
It's going to sound like a repeat. I'm most proud of my kids.
Okay.
And it seems cliche to say that.
But what about your own, like your personal accomplishment? Like having children, okay, and being proud of them. Yes, absolutely. What about yourself that you're most proud of?
It's going to sound like I'm patting myself on the back.
Well, that's the opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
This is your opportunity.
I think I'm an honest person with good integrity.
Okay.
And I strive for that. Everyone falls down once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but
Everybody gossips once in a while.
that's true. And try not to get caught.
Yeah. Gosh. No, I'm glad you did get caught because it's
No, I
prevented
agree.
you from ever doing it again.
I agree. And it was
didn't
a
feel
minor
right.
thing.
And it probably didn't feel right to begin with.
No, it didn't.
No.
But it was.
Neither did the cupcakes scenario.
I think that's what I'm most proud of about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to expand on that.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Okay.
I could keep on going. I could come up with new questions, but you're definitely over 10 now.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Is there anything that you would like to share with any wisdom that you would, piece of advice? And not about turning 60 so much, it's just about life in general, what you've learned over the years.
There have been things that I would say with some regularity to other people, raising my kids, to friends, in business. I'm a firm believer in just do the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
not the easy thing. The right thing is frequently the less easy thing,
Right.
but it's the right thing to do. I was once accused of being a Buddhist. I'm not a Buddhist,
No.
but it was something I said something along the lines of don't try to change what you can't change.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little bit, I'm not prepared for this right now, but it was a little bit more articulate than that. But I think that's good life advice.
Yeah. In
You can,
other words, you can't control
you
what you
can't,
can't
you,
control,
you
right?
can't control. That's exactly what I said. Control. That's what I would say. Thank you for reminding me. Control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't control it, don't even try, because it's just wasted energy,
Right.
and frequently will lead to frustration and just anger and disappointment.
Right.
That's my advice.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's what is that enough? Those are words to live by. You want to hear all my maxims, my life maxims?
Yes, let's hear them.
There are even days when Mick Jagger doesn't like going to work.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one from you before.
Yeah, I have said it to you before, and it means
Probably when I was grumbling about going to work.
probably there are days when Mick Jagger, he wants to be singing Satisfaction, but he's sitting in a conference room with accountants and lawyers and publicists and who knows what, and I expect he doesn't like that.
Yeah, maybe or maybe not. Maybe he's
Well,
a
just
big
as an
business-
example, well, he
might
might.
have a business head. Yeah, but the point is,
Well, he
is
did
that
go to
you're
the
not
London
gonna
School of
love-
Economics, so
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're not going to love every aspect of your job. I mean,
Exactly.
I love most of my job for
Mhm.
sure,
Mhm.
but there are certain aspects that I could do
Yeah.
without.
I don't like editing the 60 Plus podcast.
You don't?
I really don't. No,
Even with my help?
even with your help.
Oh,
Sometimes because of your help.
move this, don't turn that. Da, da, da. Yeah.
All
Having
right.
to cut out all my singing.
All right. I have a question for you.
Wait, it's not my birthday.
Well, you brought the subject up.
What?
Tell me about the cupcakes.
Oh no. Okay. So I was in kindergarten and it was my birthday and my mother had made cupcakes for me to take in to school. And everybody always brought something in for their birthday. And we always used to line up for milk time. So you line up and get your milk and get, whatever.
Did it come in cartons or bottles?
Cartons.
Oh, see, we had bottles when
No,
I was that
cartons.
age. Yep.
And I used to really, I don't know why, it used to bother me that these kids would all like run to be like first in line. Why? I don't know. So I was
It's
often,
like getting on a plane.
yeah. So I was often, not first in line because I wasn't like that,
Mhm.
And so I forgot that when it's your birthday, you get to go to the front of the line.
Ah.
Meanwhile, I was handing out the cupcakes. And when you funnel through the milk line, you then sit in the seat next to the teacher and you kind of like line up at the table.
Oh, I bet you love that part of it, sitting next to the teacher at the front of the room.
Oh, stop. Now that's not what this story is about. So I thought, well, I'm going to fix the little red wagon of the person who runs. It was always like this one kid who was like pushing people aside to
Mhm.
get to the
It
front
was
of
a
the
boy,
line.
wasn't it?
Probably. And, I was like, there was one mushed cupcake.
And you gave the mush
And
cupcake to
so
me.
I put the mush cupcake in that first seat.
Did you mush it? Yes,
No,
you did.
No, wait, this is not, the story's not over. You asked. Now I got to tell the whole
Okay.
story. So I put the mush cupcake in that seat, in front of that seat, not knowing, not remembering that that's where I was going to be sitting.
Oh.
So once the teacher, Mrs. Rand was her name, she's like, okay, everybody line up for milk. And then, of course, they're running. And then, like, Janet, you go to the front of the line. It's your birthday. And I'm like, I put the mush cupcake in my seat. So I get to the seat and I traded it with the little, whoever was going to be sitting next to me. Like, I
Nasty
got to
little
the
boy.
seat
Yeah.
and I traded it. And she saw me. And of course, the kid who sat next to me was like, Mrs. Rand, my cupcake is so much. It was like crying. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Here, you can, and I so ceremoniously had given her one, of course, too. Here, you come and switch it with me. And she's like looking at me, giving me the evil eye.
Mhm.
And I felt like a piece of something you find on the bottom of your shoe. I felt so awful about the whole thing.
Is this why you were kept back in kindergarten?
It wasn't. But she did have a word with me afterwards, too. She's like, I saw what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God. Because that was kind of like, I don't know, dishonest or something. I mean, like I was trying to like teach somebody a lesson, and
You
then
know what it what no, you know what it is? It's
what was
passive
it?
aggressive.
Was it passive
Oh, it's total
aggressive?
passive aggressive.
Or was that like
Mm-hmm.
forewarning, foreshadowing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm passive aggressive.
Well, I didn't say you like you are now, but
No, but you
it
know
sounds
what?
like you
It
were
was
in
like I
kindergarten.
never did anything like that ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a bold move, to do that in the first place.
Sure.
Trying to teach somebody a lesson.
Yeah.
I taught myself a lesson, is what I
You
did.
did.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the cupcake story,
That's the
not the beefcake story.
Well, I'm happy about one thing about this episode.
What's that?
There was no patty whacking involved.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Mm.
Wait, let me call a few friends over. 65 patty whackings
All
for
right.
you.
I think that's going to do it for Real Talk with Joe, this episode of the 60 Plus
Happy
podcast.
birthday.
Thank you very much,
to
Janet.
you.
All right.
Happy birthday.
That's it.
to
I'm Joe.
you. I'm Janet. Bye.